So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Can everyone hear me okay? If you can, just put a yes in the chat. Awesome. Perfect. Now I have my slides up. Everyone can see my slides okay? Alyssa, can you see anything now? Okay, perfect. All right, well, welcome everyone to the introduction to retargeting ads. I'm so excited to have everyone here today. I'm not sure if you had a chance to see the video that was playing in the waiting room, but I will just share my screen very quickly before I get into the content, just to show you around the webinar space. Okay. So on the right-hand side is where you'll see a lot of the different information. So there's a chat. If you have any questions, you can post them here, and then throughout the webinar, I will be answering them. And then there'll be a couple handouts that I put out throughout the training as well, and they'll be here. They're going to be in PDF format, and you'll be able to download them once they're shared, once we get to that section of the training. All right. Okay, perfect. So my name is Monique. I am the trainer that's going to be going through the webinar with you today. A little bit about myself. I'm a certified digital marketer. I love to run paid traffic. And I also love teaching marketing, which I do through my business, Geronimo Solutions, which is a local digital marketing agency, and also the company that I'm with today, Success with Digital. So some things that we're going to be covering today are what is retargeting. We'll talk about what it is. We're going to go over marketing funnels, which is a big part of retargeting. We're also going to look at segmentation based on your visitor's website activity. We'll look at full funnel retargeting. We're going to cover the Facebook pixel, what it is, how it works. We're going to talk about building custom audiences. And then also looking at different retargeting use cases. We're going to look at building your custom audiences and how to use it. And then I'm also going to walk through how to set up campaigns using those custom audiences. So if at any point you have questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A section, and then we will have little moments where I stop and pause and answer them. And then also at the end, I've allotted a little bit of extra time for those of you that have additional questions. You can save those up for the end as well during the Q&A. So what is retargeting? Retargeting is a cookie-based technology that uses simply a JavaScript code to anonymously follow your audience all over the web. That's the definition from retargeter.com. So essentially Facebook or Google, any of the different social media platforms that you want to use, they will give you a little snippet of code that you can install on your website and basically be able to show ads to people that are on your that have visited your site. Facebook also allows you to build audiences based off of other actions, such as engaging with your Facebook page, watching your videos, and that type of content. So it's unobtrusive. It's just a little bit of code. And so that bit of code is often referred to as a pixel. And that's what we'll be referring to it as we move forward. So some things to know about pixels are that they're completely unnoticeable to your site visitors. They don't affect your site performance. They're asynchronous bits of code, so they will load after your site is done loading, so they don't affect your performance at all. And when you cookie or pixel your site visitors, you can serve ads only to those that have visited your site. So it's great to promote ads to people that are already familiar with your brand. So what to expect when you start remarketing? Well, remarketing is a way to take advantage of your already existing organic traffic. It's a way to take advantage of any paid traffic that you're driving to your website, and that's now and in the future. Once you have your remarketing pixels installed on your website, it'll just continuously be building up those audiences. So it's kind of one of those set it and forget it. Unless you need to create new audiences, they will be continuously generating and refreshing based on the traffic that is coming to your site. So before we get into really the thick of the remarketing, I just want to touch base about marketing funnels. With remarketing, it really is allowing you to build up sales funnels that allow you to drive people from the top of your funnel, people that maybe don't know about you, all the way down to the bottom of the funnel where they become active customers. And so this is just a quick look at what a typical simple sales funnel looks like. There's up at the top, there's the awareness phase. So that's when people don't know about you, but they learn about you. Maybe they see a social media post or one of your ads, or they're searching on Google for some educational content and they come across one of your blog posts. The next phase is the evaluation phase. So that's when they're kind of wanting to learn more about you and see if you're a right fit for what they need. And then there's the conversion phase, the bottom of the funnel. And that is when people are actually turning from prospects into customers. Another way to think of a sales funnel in terms of traffic is traffic temperature. So people that don't know about you would be considered cold traffic. And then there's the people that have had some sort of engagement with you. They know about you, but they haven't converted yet. That is considered warm traffic. And then there's the hot traffic. Those are the people that have purchased from you before, that are active advocates of your brand, and that really are your maybe best customers or people that have purchased from you in the past. So as we get into marketing funnels and what they are, I will be referring to different traffic temperatures. And it's important that as you build up your marketing funnels, that you don't just have the same offer for all people. And so people that are brand advocates, you can speak to them differently because they're at a different stage in their customer journey with you. You wouldn't probably say the same things to your hot traffic as you would to your cold traffic because you're just introducing yourself to them. A phrase that we have in the digital marketing world is you don't want to ask for marriage on a first date. You wouldn't walk up to someone in a bar and say, "Hi, my name's Monique, and I just want to know if you want to get married." You wouldn't say that to cold traffic, but if there's someone that you've been dating for a while, that might be something that you would ask them. So what are some cold traffic offers that, that you can show to introduce people to your brand? There is blog posts. Blog posts are great pieces of content that you can drive people from your social media campaigns over to your site, pixel them, and then they also learn about more about your business. So this is an example of a blog post that we ran for Greenhouse Spa. They're very well known for their threading services, and they're one of the only people in Sault Ste. Marie that offer this service. So we put together a blog post that really covers what threading is, why it's effective, and why people love it, and the benefits of it. So anyone that is maybe familiar with threading but not familiar with Greenhouse Spa, they would be inclined to click over to this blog post, and then we can pixel them and remarket back to them, offering them that service. Another cold traffic offer is just introducing yourself. Who are you? What are you about? And what are your values? Those are good ways to introduce yourself to cold traffic. So this is another ad that we ran for Apothecarium Pharmacy, where it really just introduces himself. It says, you know, meet Alistair, your friendly down-to-earth pharmacist. His position is decidedly uncorporate. We list his favorite beers, that his type of music, and that he's the sleepless father of 4. That is a great cold traffic offer, especially because he is his brand. And introducing people to him will make it more personal when we ask for them to switch pharmacies later on in the funnel. So building up your remarketing audiences is very similar to building an email list. It's an audience that you can promote to over and over again, and they're warm traffic. Once you've been able to pixel them, just like once you've been able to gather their emails, you'll be able to remarket back to them. So it's important to think of remarketing, emails, newsletters, those types of things is really building marketing assets for your company that is going to allow you to do marketing smarter and also more cost effective. Once you have them, it's easier to promote to them. Okay, so going through a typical sales funnel, I'm just going to run through one that we did for Apothecarium Pharmacy. So the step 1 was to introduce yourself to cold traffic. So as I said in the first ad, it was just really introducing it. And then we also ran another ad that was a blog post. So this one was 7 benefits of choosing a locally owned independent pharmacy. You can see that that is Alistair's kind of differentiating part of him. He's locally owned, independent, which makes him very different from something like Shoppers Drug Mart or Rexall. So we wrote a blog post about the benefits of actually working with a locally owned independent pharmacy. So that drove people to his website. And then the step 2 is to convert your acquaintances to leads. So once they know who you are, maybe they read the blog post or they engaged with the introductory kind of ad, it could have been a video, then at that point, we want to convert all those people that have engaged with that content into leads. So what we did with Alistair is we asked them to book a medication review. And then we ran that as an ad. We drove people over to his website where there was an opt-in page for them to be able to just fill out a simple form where he could call them and make an appointment to book a consultation. The next step is step 3, and that's to convert warm audiences into buyers. So people that have actively been engaging with you, that have maybe visited your website, but haven't converted yet, that's a good time to really give them a sales message. So this was an ad that we ran for Apothecarium. Here are 3 easy steps to transferring your prescription to us. Just kidding, there's only one. Give us a call. We'll handle everything else. And that's really what they do. You just have to call them, and then it's very easy to transfer. And so if we would have just ran this ad to a cold audience, people that it didn't know who he was, they probably would just kind of keep scrolling past that because they don't even know who Apothecarium is. But because we ran this ad to people that had previously engaged with him and previously had been pixeled, then we know that they know who Alistair is. They know that he's locally owned and independent. And at that point, we want to convert them now into buyers. Okay, I'm just going to check if anyone has any questions so far. Feel free to put them in the Q&A. Okay, awesome. Okay, so 90% of the traffic that you're going to get to your website isn't actually going to take the action that you want them to when they first visit. And it's important to keep in mind that you're assuming that they didn't say no, that they just couldn't take action at the time. They could have been distracted, maybe they were cooking dinner, maybe they just kind of were scrolling through Facebook, saw your ad, clicked over, but really didn't have the time to take the action. So retargeting really maximizes the results that you get from your marketing efforts and your organic efforts as well. So I'm going to talk about segmentation based on your visitors' activity. And this is going to be really important as we get into actually mapping out and planning your retargeting campaigns. So if you were a vegan and you saw these two ads, which ad do you think would get more clicks from a vegan? One that says get hundreds of vegetarian recipes you can prepare in less than 20 minutes, or get hundreds of vegan recipes you can prepare in 20 minutes. Most likely the ad that's going to get the most clicks is going to be the vegan because it's more specific. So when you're planning out your ads, it's a great idea to think about who is your target audience and what are their interests and why are they coming to your site? What products and services are they looking for? And can you build out your ad campaigns so that it's going to be hyper specific to that target audience? And then that way, when you're building up your remarketing audiences, then you'll know that if you ran ads specifically for vegans and people clicked over, then you know that they have an interest in vegan recipes. So there's a few different ways to get traffic sources. There's social media, there's SEO, there's paid traffic, and then there's also email. And if you break up your traffic so that you're planning the content on your website so that it silos people into these types of contents, then you'll be able to build up custom audiences specific to the type of customer that you're looking for. So this is an example that goes back to the vegetarian and vegan. People might come to your website for vegetarian items. They might come for gluten-free and they might come for vegans. And if you can break up your content and your ads to be very specific to those type of people, then when you remarket back to them, the wording that you use and the ad graphics that you use can be hyper specific to them. So an example of this would be when we ran ad campaigns for Vibe Eatery. She offers vegan, gluten-free, and vegetarian options. When we run ads, we try to be very specific to the type of person that we're speaking to. So when we remarket back to them and remind them that we're here, they're getting a message that's very specific to them. So it's important to organize your content and create keywords for your content. So on my website, if I have any type of content that's specific to social media, I'll make sure that the URL structure that I'm using includes social media. So what does full funnel retargeting look like? So this is a full funnel retargeting planner that we put together. We actually use a program to build out our funnels, but this is very similar to what it would look like. We're going to run an ad that is to cold audiences. And then from there, we might want them to opt in to get a service. If they don't do that when they first visit our site, then we would launch a retargeting ad. And we would build out an entire funnel based off of a cold audience, a warm audience, a hot audience, and then there's the final thank you page. That would be the end of the funnel. And within that, there can be your original ad and up to 3 retargeting ads, depending on how you want to build that up. And I'm going to go through filling out this retargeting planner a little bit later on. Okay, so I am going to jump into the actually getting started with the Facebook pixel. Does anyone have any questions so far about segmenting your visitor activity or how funnels work? Okay, perfect. Okay, so getting started with the Facebook pixel. This is the base code for the Facebook pixel, and don't let it scare you by all the code. It's very, very easy to implement. But I'm gonna hop into the business manager right after this and show you around where the pixel is and how to view it in just a moment. But I wanted to talk about the 2 different types of pixel codes that you can get. There's the base pixel that essentially covers your whole entire website. And then there's what's called a Facebook events tag. And so this probably is a little bit more advanced, but I want to cover it in this training just so you know that you can track the outcomes of your ads. If you're running ads and you're trying to get leads or purchases, you can track all of that through using events tags. So with the base pixel, you would put it on your entire website and it would pixel everyone that comes to your website. And then for Facebook events tags, you would use it with when something is successful. So an example of that is if I have a page on my website that is for book a consultation, and then I have a thank you page that people visit once they fill out the form to book the consultation, then I would add my events tag on the thank you page. And every time someone visits that thank you page, Facebook or Google, they know that you've had a success, and you can put in your tag that it was a lead, and then you can also put in different information in terms of what type of content they were getting or what type of service. If you have an e-commerce store and it was a purchase, you can put in what the purchase was, what the cost, what the revenue was on it, and then also you can even put in what your cost is on it, so you can track all those metrics in terms of what your sales are and your revenue. Okay, so I am going to switch over to the business manager now and walk you through how to look at the Facebook pixel. So the URL that I'm going to is business.facebook.com. If you have the business page, you may have set up your business page here already. If not, you might be using your personal Facebook page or your personal Facebook account to access the admin areas of your business Facebook page, but it's a good idea and good practice to make sure that you set yourself up in business.facebook.com. Not only do you get more features, it also allows you to add staff to your account so that you don't have multiple admins that you can be removed from. It's also a great way to give access to different advertisers or agencies that maybe do marketing for you on your behalf. But you don't want to give them admin rights. You're just giving them access to be able to do certain things. So I am going to go ahead and switch over to the business manager. Okay, perfect. Can everyone see the Business Manager page now? Should be viewable here. Okay, awesome. Okay, so when you log into business.facebook.com, where you will first be is on this main dashboard page, and you'll be able to see your different ad accounts. You'll also be able to see your different pages. Where we're going to go here is to the pixels. So if we hit the three little bars here for the menu icon, we will open up the menu. We're going to want to click on All Tools. And then under Events Manager, this is where you'll see the different pixels. If you've never created a pixel before, it may ask you to create a pixel, but you can see here in my ad account, I have quite a few pixels that we work on. And when you first come in, the first thing that it's going to do is show you your different pixels, how many different events were received. And so I'm just going to go in to the details on this default pixel, which will allow you just to see, how many page views you've had. Depending on how you have your pixel set up, you can see different things like leads, initiate checkouts. We have purchases here as well. Add to carts. We do social Wi-Fi, so we can see the login details here as well. And when you first come in, it'll show you for the last, this current month. But you are able to switch through. When you first come in, though, what you're going to want to do is come to Setup. And then this is how you'll be able to set up your pixel. And there's a few different ways. You can use an integration or tag manager. So if you're using Google Tag Manager on your site already, you can use that. There's also different shopping platforms and website platforms that it'll show you the instructions how to do it. So if you run Eventbrite events, it'll show you how to do that. If you have a Shopify store, it'll give you instructions on how to set it up in your Shopify store. Same thing with WordPress, WooCommerce, Squarespace. There's quite a few different options for integrating, and it does give you the instructions on how to do that. There's also the ability to manually install the code yourself. So what you could do is just copy this to your clipboard, and then you would paste that into the head section of your website. This third part, automatic advanced matching, is optional. I have it turned on, and once I get into different customer data in a little bit, this will make more sense, but it just allows you to match up your custom audiences with actual customers. If you want to import them from a POS system, you can match up the emails, the phone numbers, the first and last names, so that way your audiences are more accurate. So if you have someone that visited your website online, and you also have maybe someone that's come into your store and you have them in your in-store POS, if you upload those, then Facebook will be able to match them, so that way you're not distributing ads or showing ads to people that have already purchased that specific product or service. And then once you've installed it, it'll say send test traffic to your pixel, and it'll tell you if it's active or not. And then there's also this third option if you're working with a web developer. You can email instructions to them, and then basically you can forward that to them so that they can install the pixel for you. One thing that I like to do is, and I'll just pull up my website really quick, is I have this Google Chrome extension called the Facebook Pixel Helper, and I have it installed on my Chrome store, so I can see that I have 2 pixels installed on my website. So if you're ever wondering once you've installed it, if it's there, you can also just install the Facebook Pixel Helper, and then you'll be able to see if there's any pixels installed on the site or not. So you can test to see if it's working, if it hasn't pulled in any data yet. I'm just going to put that in the chat box. Does anyone have any questions about the pixel at all? Feel free to put any questions that you have in the Q&A box, and I'll answer as I'm going through the different sections. Okay. Okay, so once you have your pixel installed, that's when you can start creating custom audiences. So there's 4 sources of custom audiences that you can use, and the 4 are your customer files. So as I had mentioned earlier, if you have an in-store POS where you're collecting customer data, first name, last name, email address, phone number, you can export that information from your POS and import it into Facebook and let them know that those are your current customers. There's also website activity, which we'll be covering quite a bit today. There's mobile app activity. So if you do have a mobile app and you want to create custom audiences based on the activity that they're doing in there, in your app, then you can create audiences based off that. And then there's also Facebook engagement. So that's anybody that engages with your page or watches a specific video and really just engages. It could be someone that looks at an event that you have on your page, really any type of Facebook engagement. So when looking at your customer files, the type of custom audiences, customer file, custom audiences, the type of information that you can import into Facebook is their email, their phone numbers, their first and last name, what their postal code is, the city that they live in, the country, and even the device type. So if you had an e-commerce store, then you could, and you were tracking what kind of device they were visiting your site from, if it was mobile or desktop, then you could import that as well. For website and app activity, there's a few things that you can make audiences based off of. So you can reach people based on specific pages that they visited. You can also avoid spending money on people who've already completed specific actions. If you're selling a yoga class and you already know that certain people bought passes, you can exclude them by creating audiences specifically for people that have purchased. You can also remarket back to people based on inferred intent. So what that means is if someone has come to your website and you have an e-commerce store and they've started the checkout process but didn't complete it, you can remarket back to them, reminding them of the things that they left in their cart. Or you can, if they don't come back and complete the purchase in so many days, you could run an ad to them, offering them a coupon code to complete the purchase. And then the other thing that you can do with website and app activity is create lookalike audiences of people similar to your best customers and clients. So if you know that there's certain people that have completed purchases of a specific product or service because they visited your thank you page, then you can take that audience, bring it into Facebook and say that you want Facebook to find people that are like that maybe have the same interests, that like the same pages, that are the same demographics. So it's a great way, instead of just going out and always showing ads to cold traffic that you're not sure if they're interested in what you're selling, Facebook will find lookalike audiences that are based off of people that have already purchased from you. So lookalike audiences are, we use them quite frequently. And they're a great way to reach out to cold traffic that maybe doesn't know about you, but you know that at least they have similar interests to your already existing customers. So for Facebook engagement custom audiences, you can create different audiences based on people that like your Facebook page, anyone that's engaged with your Facebook page, people that have watched videos that you've posted to your page, anyone that's kind of either opted in through a lead ad or has opened a lead ad, and then anyone that's engaged with full screen mobile experiences, which are also called canvas ads. Or you may have noticed on your Facebook page, when you put up a post, there's an option to create an instant experience where you're building up a canvas, almost like a landing page right within Facebook. You can also build custom audiences based on that. So with website activity, custom audiences, there's a few different rules to be able to create the audiences. There's all website visitors, so that will be building an audience of everyone that's visited your site, people who have visited specific pages, and also visitors based on time spent. And so with website visitors, you can include website visitors or you can exclude website visitors, and it allows you to track people up to 180 days historically. So if you had your pixel installed for the last year and you wanted to create an audience today of website visitors, Facebook will allow you to pull data from 180 days ago all the way up till the present. So some people do the 180 days, some people will, depending on what your objective is, you might only do 30 days or 14 days. It's really up to you, but you can go as far back as 180 days. So people have visited specific pages. And I'm going to hop into the business manager after this, and we're going to walk through how to do this, but I just wanted to cover it beforehand, just so we can kind of have an understanding before we jump in. Say I have a clothing store and it's an e-commerce store, and I want to remarket back to people that have looked at my summer clothes. I can build up a custom audience and say that anyone who's visited a specific page that contains the word summer, then those people will be shown ads. So you can see in the first domain, the way that URL structure works is summer is a category on my website. And so this URL, anyone who visited this page would be shown my ad or would be added to that custom audience. But someone that visited, winter clothes would not. So it's just a keyword. And when I was talking about building up your website page URL structure based off keywords, this is what I mean, because you can target specifically one keyword. You don't have to put in the full URL. We would just put in that keyword. And then there's people who have visited pages and you can choose doesn't contain. And you can use a keyword there. So if I sold furniture and I had a section called drawers, then I could say that I don't want it to include anything that has the word drawers. And then there's also people who have visited, but an exact page, that needs to be the exact full URL. And once we get into the custom audiences in the ads manager, I'll talk about that a little more. And there's a few different ways that you can refine your audiences. You can say by frequency. So if someone visited my summer category on my website at least 3 times, I want to have them added to this audience. You can also specify device. So if you're only wanting to target people that are on iPhones, you can specify iPhones or mobile over desktop and that kind of thing. So an example of that would be Vibe Eatery recently launched their food ordering app. We're running ads for the app, but it's an app and we're driving people to the app install, like the download for the Google Play and the iPhone App Store. Well, we're only going to show, we only want people that are on iPhones and Android devices that are on mobile. We only want to really target those type of people and then remarket back to them. So that would be an example of that. There's also allowing by visitors time spent. So this would look at all of your website traffic and then take either the top 25, 10, or 5% of people that have spent the most time on your site and include that anyone that's visited your site up to the last 180 days. And so this one is a good for people if you're offering a lot of content on your site, or maybe if you have an e-commerce site and people are spending a lot of time looking at products, you might choose to build an audience based off that. Okay, and then so another type of retargeting that's really big right now, and it's something that is really easy to implement, is video retargeting. So why video retargeting? They're great for building relationships, just like I showed you that intro ad of Alistair from Apothecarium explaining who he is. It's great to put your why video up on social media and introduce yourself to your audience. It builds a relationship, it creates a level of personalization, and then that way when you start remarketing back to them with your offers, they'll already know your brand. So video retargeting is really big. So you can also remarket back to people with videos. So different types of retargeting videos would be if you have client testimonials that you want to share. If someone's visited your website and maybe they went to the services page, if you had a video that followed them for the first little bit of clients that have had really great success with you, you can offer testimonials. Overcoming objections is also a good type of video. So if you know that there's certain reasons why people say no, maybe they always say it's too expensive or maybe they don't have time, you can create a video that talks about overcoming those objections. Like, you need to make time for yourself and it may cost this much, but in the long run, it'll save you this much. And then the third option is adding scarcity. If you are running a campaign and it's something that you know people want, if you run a scarcity campaign, that video, then that sometimes can kind of push people into making the sale. So an example of that would be Black Friday just went by, and if you had a video that you ran to all your website traffic, then you could let them know, you know, what the deals are and that it's only available for a short amount of time. So this is an example. I blocked everything out, but it was a lady that had osteoporosis, and this was a testimonial retargeting ad where it's a client testimonial, and so anyone that visited this specific client's website, they would be shown this testimonial ad afterwards. So this is great too for any kind of service-based business. If you offer a service and people are really happy with it, ask one of your clients if they'd be willing to do a video testimonial and then run that as an ad to the people that have visited your site but maybe haven't booked in with you. So I just wanted to mention that in terms of running video ads, you really want to make sure that you catch their attention in the first few seconds. So either that's going to be a call out, or you're going to make a big statement in the first few seconds, so that when people are scrolling through their feeds, you give them a reason to want to stop. Also, if you're doing like a talking video of yourself or someone from your team, I'd say that it's very important to make sure that you have the, oh my goodness, I can't think of the word right now, but that you have the words on the screen showing what you're saying. Take the time to put those in, so that way, even if people aren't going to listen to your video, they're just going to watch it on their mobile phones without clicking the sound, that they're going to know what you're talking about. It's also really good for people that have accessibility issues. If they're unable to hear, they'll still be able to get your message. And I think sometimes that's often overlooked, that people that have accessibility issues aren't really catered to when it comes to advertising, but they're still consumers. So when you're retargeting with videos, you would choose the video views option. Okay. Met, do you have a question? I'll just. Okay, so building custom audiences, I'm going to walk through the Business Manager now and walk through how to create custom audiences. Some things to know is that even when you build your audience and you're looking to see what those audiences are, it'll take sometimes 24 hours for it to actually load how many people are in that audience. And when you're doing remarketing, if your website doesn't get a lot of traffic, it might always just say it's too small to show, but it'll still let you use it in a remarketing campaign. So don't worry too much about that. So when you go into the Business Manager, you'll go to the menu, you'll click All Tools, and then under Assets, you'll see the Audience section, and then from there, you'll click Create Audience. So I'm going to go ahead and hop into my Business Manager. Does anyone have any questions so far before I hop into how to make custom audiences? Okay, so Matt saying, couldn't find the Pixel helper on my Facebook page. So it's not actually on your Facebook page, it's a Google Chrome extension. So I'm just grabbing the link for the extension. So I just put the link to the Google Chrome extension. So if you're using Chrome as your browser, then you can install that extension, and you can see not just on your website, but any website, if there's pixels installed or not. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I am going to hop in to the Business Manager. and we'll look at different audiences. So when you're in your business manager, when you come to the menu and you click all tools, you'll see under assets that there's audiences. So you can click on that, and then you'll end up where all of your audiences are made. So this is, right now I'm actually in the Sandro's account. So you'll see that we have different saved audiences. One is just a regular audience where we targeted just general population of Sault Ste. Marie. But then you can see that there's two here that are custom audiences. One is Sandro's Facebook page engagement, and then Sandro's website traffic. And so you'll be able to see what you've named the audience, what type of audience it is. So it's a custom audience. And this one is based off page engagement. And then this third one is based off their website traffic. It'll tell you what the size of the audience is. And then basically availability is if you can or cannot use it. And then it'll let you know the date that it was created. And then this last column, sharing, that would be if you're sharing this audience with someone else, which is a little bit more advanced, and probably most likely if you're working with another agency or maybe another business and you want to be able to share that audience. So when you're in here, you'll see this blue button here that is create audience. And the first option is custom audience. So when this opens up, you'll see that there's 5 different types, like 5 different areas that you can go into in terms of creating your custom audience. And I'm going to go into each one. The first one is the customer file. So this, as I said, could be from your in-house POS system, or if you track contact information from clients, you can import that in either a text format or an Excel sheet format, like a CSV format. And then there's also an option if you use MailChimp to send out your newsletters. You can choose your MailChimp and sync the two so that it will build custom audiences based off your newsletter sign up. And then this third option is fairly new, and it's a little bit more advanced. It's a customer file with the lifetime value. So a lifetime value is what the actual lifetime revenue that you've received from each of your customers. So I'm not sure if anyone on the training today tracks that, but it is something great to be able to track with your business, to be able to see, you know, how much on average do customers spend with you in a lifetime. It also gives you a good indication of what you can spend to get new customers. If you know that in the lifetime of every customer on average, they spend $2,000 with you, well then spending, you know, $5, $10, $20 to get them on board with you is not that much. But maybe if their first purchase is $20, it might seem like, oh, well, that wasn't that great of a deal. But if you know that in their lifetime, they're probably going to spend $2,000, it makes a little bit more sense to be able to spend that much to get a new customer. So I'm not going to go through actually uploading a customer data sheet, but you can come in here and you can upload those, which I encourage everyone to do. The next section is website traffic. So this is where basically everything that's on your site, anything that's based off the pixel will be here. So the first option that you'll see is that you want to include people that match any of the following criteria. There's also the criteria that they have match all of the criteria that's going to be listed here. So typically when you first come in, it's chosen at any. That means that all of the different things that we list here, in order for them to be added to this audience, they only really need to match at least one of the things that we're listing. So there's a few different options here that we ran through. There's all website visitors, people who had visited specific pages, and then also visitors by time spent. If you have event tracking set up on your pixel, then you'll see a few different options here as well. So when you choose all website visitors, the only thing that you really need to worry about is how many days. So as I mentioned, you can go as far back as 180 days. And that's the maximum amount Facebook will let you go back in. When you first go in, it's just based off the last 30 days, but you can change that to any number that you like, depending on the situation and the campaign that you're running. So the second option is people who have visited specific web pages. And there's, again, you can choose in the past however many days. So if I was just running a general remarketing campaign, I'd probably go closer to the max. Melissa Borland, I don't have those extra options. You don't have the three options, the first three options, Alyssa, or you don't have the options that are listed from your events? I'm just gonna just wait 1 second just to make sure that Alyssa's has the first three options. Okay. So you only have all website visitors? Okay, and did you just install the Facebook pixel, or has it been installed on your site for some time? Okay, so it might take a little bit for it to populate. It might take a little bit for it to populate. So it might just be that it doesn't have any data yet, because it can take 24 hours. And if you just installed the Pixel today, it'll need time in order to even build up audiences based off specific pages. So most likely you just have to wait a little bit for those options to show up. Okay, so I'm going to move ahead. So people who have visited specific pages in the last X amount of days. So again, you can go up to 180 pages. And so when I was talking earlier about the different options here, contains, when you're using the contains option, you do not have to put the full URL. You only have to put the keyword that you want to use. So in my example, I had a clothing store and I wanted to target specifically people that had visited the summer category on my site. I would literally just type summer, and then it would only pull people in that had visited any URL that includes the word summer on my site. When you're in here, you can continue to keep adding more things here. So say we wanted summer and we also wanted fall clothing. you can keep adding more. And as I said, it'll add, if this is set to any, then it'll add everyone to this audience that is that matches at least one of these options. If I were to set this to all, it would only add people to the audience that have both visited a page that has summer and then has also visited a page that includes fall. So oftentimes you're probably going to want to choose the any, but in some instances you might want it to say all. So an example of wanting to use all versus any, say, actually, you know what, I'm going to do this in the next section. So this can be any. So we're going to have here, you can also choose that we're including people, but say we wanted to actually exclude people in this audience. So we want people that have visited the summer page or the fall page, but we want to exclude anyone that has purchased in the last 30 days. If we already know that they've purchased a product, then we can exclude them because there's no point in showing them an ad for the same product that they've already purchased. Okay. So that's contains. And you can, instead of adding down here and also, you can, if it's just all the same, if it's all going to be contains, you can actually add fall in here, and you can keep going until you're done if it's all going to be under the contains. Now the next section is doesn't contain. So if we are running an ad for summer, maybe we would want to say we don't want anyone that has visited pages that include the URL, winter in the URL. You can say it doesn't contain. And then there's equals. So equals is a little bit different than the first two options in that you have to actually put the full URL here. So if you wanted people who have visited a very specific page, you would need to put the full URL in here. So for me, say I have a book a consultation page, and once people book in, they get redirected to a thank you page. I could say that I want this audience to be people that have visited the Geronimo.ca book consultation page, and I want to exclude anyone that has visited the thank you page. So I would actually put in here the full URL to my thank you page. And then that way it will only show people that have visited the page but didn't actually complete the action that I wanted them to take, and that's a book a consultation. Okay, so then the next option in here is visitors by time spent. And again, you can go up to the last 180 days. And you can choose the top percentile. So of all your visitors, you want to add people, the top 25%, the top 10%, or the top 5%. And this is in terms of time spent on your site. So again, this is really good for people that have e-commerce sites or that have a lot of content, or maybe you have a lot of blog posts, that kind of thing, and you want people that are really engaging with your website content. This would be probably an option to do it here. And if you wanted to choose specific pages, again, you can come in here and further refine that. So without this option, it'll be across the board, the top 25% of people that have visited your site in the last 30 days. But say I wanted to target that to specifically to people that look at social media content on my site, I can say of all the people that look at social media content, I want the top 25 people or 25% of people to be added to this audience. And just like previously with the people who have visited specific web pages. When you choose visitors by time spent, you can again choose contains, doesn't contain, and equals as well. Does anyone have any questions on specifically website custom audiences before I move on to the next type of custom audiences? Okay. And if you were actually finished making this audience, then you can come in here and you would give your audience a name. You can do up to 50 characters. And I try to make my audience names very specific to the type of people that I'm targeting. So if I was doing, say, the book a consultation, I would probably say Geronimo book consult not complete. Not completed, something like that. So I know that they visited the Geronimo page, that they've booked in the consultation, and but that it wasn't completed. Can you hear me? Hello? Okay. Alyssa, has your sound come back? You can hear me. You can hear me. Okay. Alyssa, if you're having trouble hearing, which here, maybe I'll just type this instead since you can't hear. Okay. If hold on. One moment. Okay. Okay, well, I'm hoping that you'll be able to get in. I don't have dial-in set up on this webinar, unfortunately. Okay. Okay, so that is website traffic. I won't go too much into app activity just because it's not one that local businesses use a whole lot. But you could come in here and based on the different apps that you have set up with Facebook, you could come in here and build up custom audiences based on the applications that you have set up. Okay, so offline activity would be importing again, your customer data, and based off of people that have interacted with you offline. So if it's people who have interacted offline in the past 30 days, you can schedule them. And then there's a whole bunch of different options when you're actually integrating offline conversions with your Facebook ads. So you can do, payment or wish list, different completed registrations, depending on the type of information that you're importing with your customer data. It would be, you can choose it here. But say in people who have interacted offline in the past 30 days, you can do that. Again, you can go up to the 180 pixels. And so for here specifically, a lot of times when I use this option, I'll make an audience and exclude people. So say someone's purchased from me in the last 30 days. Well, I might want to touch base with the people that are customers but haven't interacted or haven't been in my store to purchase in the last 30 days. Maybe I want them to return. So here I might actually exclude people who have interacted offline. I might say that anyone in the last 6 months, 180 days, that have interacted with me online, but exclude those people that have interacted with me in the last 30, meaning that anyone that is in the system as a customer in the last 6 months, I want them added to the audience, but exclude anyone that has actually purchased from me in the last 30 days. This is great for people that have, like a bricks and mortar store that it's like, or even like something like Sandro's, that if someone hasn't come to your restaurant in the last 30 days, but they're a customer, maybe you can run an ad specifically to them that is going to drive them to come back to your bricks and mortar location. So here, this is where exclusions come in handy, because you can, say specifically people that haven't been in the last 30 days. You can even have that, if it's been 3 months and they haven't come back, why aren't they coming back? Maybe I should run an ad specifically to those people. And in this instance, instead of the any option, if I was trying to exclude, I would say this is where I would choose that all option, that people have to meet all of these criterias. They have to be a customer that's interacted with me offline in 180 days, but haven't come in the last 90 days. Does anyone have any questions about kind of interacting offline? Okay, awesome. All right, so the next one is all about engagement. And this is where, say you have a website that your pixel isn't installed on, or maybe you just get a lot of really great engagement, but you're not seeing that conversion from engagement to purchases. This is where you can create a lot of remarketing audiences based specifically off that. So there's quite a few different options, and Facebook has really been pumping up this section. So it's really exciting to see all the different things that you can do in here. For those of you that don't know, Facebook owns Instagram. So when you come in here, you'll see that there's certain things that are available on both Facebook and Instagram. And then there's even things that are just available on Instagram. So you can see here that the first option is video, and you can choose from, you can see that it's available. There's a Facebook icon and an Instagram icon. Same thing with lead forms, but the full screen experience is only Facebook. So the Canvas ads are only Facebook. Facebook page is obviously only on Facebook. People that have engaged with your Instagram profile is only on Instagram. And then again, there's anyone that's interacted with your events on Facebook is only available for Facebook. So when you come into the first option, I'm clicking into video. You can choose between quite a few different options. There's people who have viewed at least 3 seconds of your video, 10 seconds, and then it can break down by different percentiles. So 25, 50, 75, and 95% of your video. For me, I often won't choose this 95% of your video just because most people don't watch that much of social videos. If you think of yourself, you know, as you're scrolling through social media, a lot of times you might watch, you know, 25, 50, 75. It's very, very unlikely that people will watch the full video from beginning to end unless it's very captivating. So if you're going to choose percentile, then you might want to choose something like 25% or 50%, or even come here and choose at least 10 seconds, depending on the length of your video. If you have a really short video that's only 7 seconds and you choose this 10-second option, obviously no one's going to be added to your audience because it's actually longer than what your video is. So oftentimes I will choose the 25 or 50%. And usually the way that I break this down is if, depending really on how much the product is, if I have just a, you know, a low dollar offer, I'll probably choose something like 3 seconds or 25%. But the more expensive that my offers are, I usually choose a higher percentage just because they will be more interested. And with high value dollar offers, you kind of want to be able to, you know, break out the tire kickers, so to speak. But yeah, so there's a few different options here. And once you choose an option, then what you can do is come in here and actually choose your video. So when you pop this open, it'll let you choose your page. So I'm just Geronimo. And then what I can do is I can check multiple videos, or I can just check one video, and then you would click confirm. There's also this option. This is just another showing you like where the source is. And then you can click confirm, and then it's going to say this audience would be anyone who has watched at least 25% of this specific video. And then again, you can keep coming in here and choosing more, and then you can choose in the past. This is where it's actually a little bit different with the engagement, is that in this section, it'll actually let you go back an entire year instead of the traditional 180 days. And again, if you were going to complete this audience, you would put in your audience name, and if needed, you can add a description. So lead forms. Just gonna. So with lead forms, you know what? I don't actually have one for myself at this specific moment. Okay. So with lead forms, they're a type of ad. They're very similar to Canvas, but what it is when you run an ad and someone clicks on it, it'll open up like this mini landing page in Facebook or Instagram if you're running it on Instagram as well. And what it does is it has a form, and it'll auto-populate that information with someone's Facebook information. So right now, we actually have an ad running for the Healing Loft that is for registrations to a workshop that they're running. And we can actually say that we want to create a custom audience based off a specific form. So you can see we have a few different ones that we're trying. So you can choose your specific form, and then we can say that we want it to be anyone who's opened this form in the last 90 days. You can say people who have opened the form but didn't submit. And then you can say people who have opened the lead form and submitted it. So there's a few different options here, which is nice because you don't have to use the exclude feature just to exclude people that maybe didn't submit the form. So if someone opened this form but didn't submit it in the last 90 days, we could create this audience and then remarket back to them, reminding them to register for the workshop because they obviously showed interest by opening the lead form. And again, you can work through, including more and excluding more, and you can build these up in different ways. I'm just going through the very basic right now. Okay, so full screen experiences. Just a side note on full screen and canvas experiences, they are converting like nobody's business. So if you haven't created an instant experience yet for your page, I suggest that you do. And this is great for people that maybe have websites that they don't necessarily update, or maybe can't create the landing pages that they want to. Instant experiences are basically like landing pages that Facebook lets you build. But when people open it, just like when you open a link in Facebook and it pops open, so do these instant experiences. So if you haven't experimented with instant experiences yet, I would definitely suggest that you do. Okay. Okay, so with instant experiences, again, you can choose the any or all. And then there's a couple different options here. So you can choose people that have opened the instant experience, and then you can also choose people who have clicked any links in the instant experience. So one that we had, this one's showing as entitled, maybe. Okay. So an instant experience you can build up and you can have different blocks, but where it differs from, say, a lead form ad where you open it up and you're trying to get someone to fill out that form or submit the form, an instant experience typically links over to your website still, but it just gives the option to, say, showcase products. One that we're actually... One that we're actually running that we did for Cases Music for Black Friday was there was a bunch of different instruments that they wanted to sell, and we could have just been driving people right to the website, but instead we created an instant experience where when someone opened it, it actually showed the 7 or 8 different products that they had available for Black Friday. And then from there, we were able to showcase the product, have a little description, and then link to that product. So it's almost like a little mini store page, but right within Facebook. And so it was a good campaign. So again, you can choose people that have opened the instant experience, and maybe then what you could do is if you wanted to remove people that have actually clicked over, you could come in here and exclude the people that have done the instant experiences as well. Okay. Oh. So Facebook pages, you can choose quite a few different things with Facebook pages. So you can choose anyone that's engaged with your page. So this would encapsulate basically all of the other options that you see on this main page. It's really anyone that's engaged with your page, and you can go up to 365 days. There's also anyone who's visited your page. Maybe they just came to your Facebook page and checked it out. There's people who have engaged with any post or ad. There's also anyone who's clicked any click to call action button. So that's on your site when you have visit us now or call us now or order now, whatever you have as your call to action on your Facebook page, you can choose people that have clicked that action. And then there's also this option, people have sent a message to your page. And that would be anyone that started a messenger conversation and actually sent the message. And then the last option is people who have saved your page or any post that's on your page. So a lot of times in this one, most people just choose everyone that's engaged with your page, just because a lot of times if you have that set up, if you want another option, they're available here. But yeah, so those are the different options for here. And again, you can set this to however low or high that you want it to be. You would give your name and audience. If you wanted to give it a description, you could as well. And again, just with naming conventions, you want to make sure that any audiences that you create, that you're really putting thought into what this is, because once you get started, when you're first starting, if you only have a couple audiences, it's not that big of a deal. But once you start getting in and say you have a lot of audiences, you really want to be able to know just by seeing the name what that audience is, so you don't have to try to click through it. Click through all the different audiences to find the one that you're looking for. Okay, so this is the Instagram business profile. And so there's a few different audiences here. Again, very similar to the Facebook page option. You can choose everyone who's engaged with your page, anyone who's visited your business profile, engaged with the post or ad, sent you a message, or who saved a post. So in here, if you have multiple Instagram profiles, a lot of times I'll see this with personal trainers, is that they'll have like their business Instagram, and then they'll also have like a personal page that people interact with that's still a business profile. You can choose to include more than one business page here. Okay, and the last one is events. So if you have an event on your page, I honestly, so if you have an event on your page, you can create audiences based off that. So this is good for those that use events a lot when promoting their business, and you have people that are saying that they're interested. But maybe actually the Innovation Center is a good example of this. They put most of their events on Facebook because they promote and sell the tickets through Eventbrite. So they might want to create an audience for people who have said that they're going or interested, but maybe they would actually exclude people who have actually purchased tickets. And then run ads to those people to remind them to buy their tickets. So in here, there's a few different options. People who have responded going or interested, people have responded going, people that have responded interested. There's quite a few different options here. The one that I like in here the most is people who have visited the event page, because a lot of times people won't actually say that they're going or interested, but if they've clicked over and visited the event page, then that shows that they are interested. They probably clicked over because they wanted to read the description, see what the details were for it, that kind of thing. So that's a good one to create an audience for, and just send them reminders like, hey, don't forget we have this event coming up, and don't forget to buy your tickets. So there's also people who've engaged. People who've engaged with tickets purchased, and people who had an intention of purchasing. So that would be them actually going through the process of purchasing, maybe adding tickets to their cart, but not completing it. And again, you can go back to 365 days. Okay, so those are the different types of custom audiences. I'm just gonna, it is 12:30 now, so I'm just wondering if we should take a quick 5-minute break or so, just if in case people need to use the loo and that kind of fun stuff. And then when we come back, I'm actually going to walk through mapping out a marketing funnel, creating the audiences, and then using those audiences in setting up your ad campaigns. So right now it's 12:33, so maybe we'll take a break and we'll come back at 12:40. Is everyone cool with that? Okay, awesome. Okay, perfect. We will be back at 12:40. Okay, so I have my mic back on. Does everyone just want to give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay? Awesome. Sweet. Okay. So I'm just going to go over some retargeting use cases just to give you some ideas of things that you can do, that you can implement for your business. So usually when it comes to remarketing, there's some kind of action that someone's taken and you want to follow up with them in some kind of way. So an action could be that they visited your services page, but didn't visit a consultation sign up thank you page. You might want to follow up with them with a retargeting ad to book a consultation. Another one could be that maybe someone visits a product page in the last 14 days and has purchased in the last 180 days. So you know that they've purchased in the past and they visited a product page in the last 14 days. You might want to follow up with a retargeting product ad specific to that ad specific to the product that they were looking at, or maybe if they don't purchase it in a set amount of time, you want to run an ad with a coupon code specific to that product. So they'll see an ad like, oh, wow, that's the product I was looking at. And now there's a coupon code. So it might just push them to complete that purchase. Another one could be a customer's previously purchased a product that you're promoting. So the follow-up with that could be that you're running an ad campaign, but you actually want to exclude people that have previously purchased. So this isn't really something that you're following up with that person that's purchased that product. You're actually just excluding them from seeing your ad campaign, so you don't have to pay for them to see your ads because they already have that product. Another one is a newsletter subscriber didn't open an email campaign. And so when we were talking about customer data, you would have seen that you can sync it with MailChimp. There's also ways to be able to sync it with other email providers. We personally use ActiveCampaign. We think that it's the best platform out there. Drift is also another really good email platform. But if you have a newsletter that went out promoting a special product, like promotion, say you're running a sale, you can say that you want to run an ad campaign only to those people that are on your newsletter list that didn't read the email. So even though they didn't open the email, you'll show them the ad on Facebook or Instagram or wherever, and then they'll at least still know about the promotion even though they didn't open your newsletter. Another one is someone has previously purchased a product, and a follow-up could be that you want to run an ad campaign that promotes like products, that you want to cross-sell them on other products that you have. So if they purchased, a summer dress, maybe you want to cross-sell them on a cute little jacket that goes with the dress. Or if they purchased, for me, maybe they're a marketing client, but now I want to upsell them on getting a social video made. So this is a great way to extend the lifetime value of your customers by promoting offers specifically to them. Or you can, offer discounts on upsells to drive them to spend more, but you don't want to necessarily run that promotion just to the general public. You want to only do it for people that have previously purchased a specific product from you. And so another one could be someone in your audience watches at least 50% of a social video, and a follow-up could be that you want to run a campaign to promote a product or service related to the video topic. And so you'll probably see on social media that you see this a lot of times with like workout apps and those kind of things, trainers. They'll do videos of people working out and they'll be like, it's for everyone and this and that. And these are the results that we've gotten with our customers. And if you watch enough of that video, then it shows that you have interest in what they're showing in the video, and then you could follow up with them to, download the app or get a free 30-day trial, or however it is that you set up your campaign. But an audience that watches at least 50% of that social video would most likely be interested in whatever product or service is related to that video topic. Okay, so using your custom audiences, I'm just going to show you quickly in the Facebook Ads Manager where that is. And then I'm going to switch back and show you how to set up a remarketing campaign. Okay, so when you are in your business manager and you want to create an ad, you would come here. Usually Ads Manager is one of the first listed under frequently used. So when you click over to the Ads Manager, and then I'm just going to use Lions because we have a lot of audiences set up for them. So when you come in here to create, you'll choose your objective. And then when you come in to actually start creating your ad set, which is how you target and you choose your budget, there's a section right here called custom audiences. And when you come in here, you can actually choose any of the custom audiences that you've previously created. So there's an all tab, which will show all of your custom audiences, including your lookalike audiences. But then you can actually toggle just to the different custom audiences that you have. So engaged with the posted ad, engaged with the page, people that like your page, video views. You can see that we have quite a few over here, all of our website visitors. So you can just choose right here that you want to use the custom audiences, one of the custom audiences that you've made. Okay. I'll just run through that really quickly then again, Melissa, just in case you missed it. When you're in the ad set section of creating a campaign, this is where you would choose your custom audiences. So when you come in here, the first tab will show all of your custom audiences. So that includes your lookalike audience and your custom audiences, but you can also toggle between the two and just choose specifically custom audiences, and you'll see them all listed here. And again, you want to probably name your audience something that's specific to what you want, so it's easy to find when you're looking in this list, because as you get more and more audiences, it'll be a little bit tricky to scroll through. So it's good to be able to tell exactly what the audience is going to be just by looking at the title of it. Okay. Okay, so we're going to look at actually creating a remarketing campaign. So on a previous slide, I had this up, but it was actually blank. What I'll do is I'm just going to find the handout. Okay, so now if you, on the right-hand side where the chat is, you'll see that there's chat, Q&A, polls, and handouts. I just shared a PDF version of this blank, so you can go ahead and download that and keep it for yourself. But in this example, this is actually an ad campaign that we've run previously. So I'm just going to walk through how this lays out, and don't let the arrows confuse you because it gets easier once you kind of get into it. So I have, I run Geronimo Solutions, which is a digital marketing agency. And one of the services that we have are social media management in terms of posting and creating ads and all that kind of fun stuff. So I could, in this funnel, I have people that every time we do a blog post or any kind of content that includes social media, I will run an ad and have people click over to my website. So you can see, I'm just going to turn the drawing on. So you can see here that on my website that my content would be any content that has social media in the URL structure. So I'm running an ad to anything that includes social media. Then from there, what I would want people to do is to book a consultation. So within my blog posts, I have a little ad that asks people to create or to click over to book a consultation. But if they just read my blog post and they drop off, they don't actually book the consultation. So if they do click over to a consultation, then they would be served this landing page. If they said no, then we would follow over here and we would have a retargeting ad that's like an intro video. So we have a video that we put together that has different testimonials from clients and just shows pictures of us and who we are. We serve that ad to them. And then the ad also would link them over to the book a consultation page. Now, if they see this ad, but they don't actually book the consultation, then we actually have another ad that goes through that we have just named our remarketing video, that it's a second video that links over to the consultation page. And if after seeing this video and visiting the page, if they still don't book in, then basically I would have it that it stops showing them the ads after 30 days. If they do book the consultation, then they would end up on a thank you page. And so it's important when you're mapping stuff out to really look at the type of content that you need, the type of ads that you need, the URL structure of where people are going to go, and so that you can map that out. So so this is kind of like a quick thing that you can do to map out your different assets. So I will just share this funnel asset planner. So I have this slide saved as a PDF as well. So I'll go ahead and share that and you can go ahead and download that. But this is what it looks like when it's filled out specific to this funnel. So I need to look at, okay, what are the different assets that I need? Who are the different audiences that I need to target? And what are the different ads that we're going to need to create? So first off, I need blogs on social media. I need my intro video. I need my remarketing video. I need to have a landing page that'll allow people to opt in for a consultation. And then I need to have my final thank you page. Those are all the different pieces of assets that I'm going to need in order for me to build this funnel. And then there's different audiences. So there's people that have visited social media blog posts on my site. There's anyone that's watched at least 50% of my intro video and haven't viewed the landing page. And then there's people that have visited the landing page, but not the thank you page. So those are like the three silos of people that are going through this funnel. And then there's the different ads. So there's the ads that lead to the different blog posts. There's the ad that includes the intro video. It's a remarketing ad that links to my book a consultation page. And then I have my third video that's just a remarketing video ad. So what I'm going to do now is actually hop into the ads manager, and I'm going to show you how I would set this up from creating the custom audiences all the way through to building the ads. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Does anyone have any questions so far before I move forward with this? Okay, awesome. Then I will share my screen. Okay, so I'm going into my dashboard, and the first place that I'm going to go to again is assets, and I'm going to go to audiences because we're going to create our custom audiences. Okay, just hide some of this. Okay, so when we come in here, we'll create custom audience. And then what we're going to do is do it based on website traffic, because we're going to build an audience based off people that have visited any page on my site that have visited anything to do with social media. So for me, I'm probably going to keep this at 30 days just because, or this first one I will put to the max. And then I would come in here, I would say that I want it to contain social media in the URL. And then I would name my audience. And then I would come in here and I would click create audience. Once you create it, usually they'll ask you if you want to create a lookalike audience right away or create an ad using this audience. We're just going to click done for now, just so that we can go through and create all of our audiences. Okay, so I'm going to come in and create my next audience, which we had set up as we want to create an audience based off anyone that's viewed 50% or more of our intro video. So we're going to come in here. We would choose anyone that's watched at least 50%. I would come in here and choose my video. Click confirm. And then you can leave this up to the 365 days. And I will name this I'm being very specific with what I'm naming my audience. So Geronimo intro video, 50% view rate. And I would click create audience. And you'll see here, it can take up to 30 minutes for your audience to be ready to use. Sometimes it can actually take up to 24 hours. So the next one that we want to do is people that have viewed our landing page. So that's our book a consultation that we're going to be driving people to. Now, in this instance, I don't really want to say people that have just visited specific pages and use a keyword. In this instance, I really want to be very specific to people that have visited the book a consultation page. So this is where I would use the equals. So I would come in here and I would put the full URL. And then I would name my audience. And I don't know, I think there's actually an A in there, but so I would call here Geronimo book consultation visit, and I would go ahead and create that audience. And I would click done. And then there's one more audience that we need to have. That's the end of the funnel. and it would be people that have visited the thank you page. So again, I would come into website traffic. I would choose people that have visited specific pages. And this is one where I would actually keep this lower. I would keep it, you know, in the last 30 days, and I would go equals again because it's very specific. Once we get this far down into the funnel, it's very specific which pages we want them to visit because they're landing pages. So I would come in here, consultation thank you page. And I'm having trouble spelling consultation. I would say completed. And then I would go ahead and create that audience. So now we have the 4 audiences that we built up based on what we know is in our funnel. And from there, we would come into the ads manager and we would start building our campaigns. Okay. So in this first campaign, remember this is the top of the funnel. This is where we're actually sending people just to our blog post. So this would be a traffic ad. We're actually sending people specifically to, to blog posts. So in this instance, we would say, we would give it a campaign name. If this was a blog post, then I would actually name it the name of the blog post. So I would say, you know, down here, there's options to create a split test and a budget optimization. If you feel like it, you can play around with that kind of stuff. I'm not going to focus too much on that today. So once we get into the ad set, then this is where we want to come in and use our custom audiences. So the ad set name is, I'd probably name this very similar to what the custom audience is, just because the ad set is what we're targeting. And the only thing that's in addition to our custom audience is what the budget is. So if you are testing different budgets on your ads and you're going to do multiple of these ads, then you can include that in your ad set as well. So I'll just call it social media traffic. And then down in audiences, here I actually, because this is the top of the funnel, I'm not using my actual custom audience here yet. I might do different types of targeting, or I actually have this one here. That's Northern Ontario page admins. Actually, sorry. It's actually a saved audience. My apologies. So I have a saved audience that I'll promote this to. Because we're promoting social media, I'm actually going to focus on people in the Sault Ste. Marie area that are page admins and who have different interests that are based on social media. So you can go into placements and all that kind of fun stuff. You can set your budget. Typically with these types of traffic ads, you need to use a minimum of $5 a day daily budget. For me, depending on what the ad campaign is, you might have it set to run continuously, or you can set a start and end date. For optimization for ad delivery, I have link click option. This is the default, but there is different things that you can do, including landing pages. But I'm just going to keep that at website views. If you wanted to do a bid cap, you can. I typically don't, but I guess it depends on your market and how much you're willing to spend for a bid. But I find that setting a bid cap, if you have a bid cap set that you're willing to pay, say $1 per click, and because it's an auction style bidding system with Facebook, and someone beats you out with say $1.02, then you're going to lose impressions on your ad just by having that bid cap set. You're going to get charged via impressions, and then you kind of go from here. You would click continue, and then from here you would choose page. And I just want to mention here that just be careful when you're setting up your ads if you do have multiple Instagram accounts. If you were to say click over here and then click back, you'll notice that this jumps to one of your other Instagram accounts. So you don't want to run an ad on your page and then accidentally on the wrong business page. I've seen a few people do that before. Okay, so here it would be we just want to run an ad with a single, and we would set this up. I'm not actually going to complete this specific one. I'm going to go out and we're going to start. But if this was a blog post, then I would put in my blog post information and then send traffic to that blog post. Oh, thank you. No, it was supposed to be sharing my screen. Can you see it now? Okay, sorry, when I refreshed to make sure that it was shared, I had accidentally turned off my mic. Can everyone hear me now? Okay, awesome. Sorry about that. Okay, so right now I'm setting up my retargeting campaign or my remarketing campaign, and I want to show this video to anyone that's looked at any of the social media traffic on my website or blog posts on my website, and I want to ask them to book a consultation. So I come in here and I have a campaign name, and this one I'll call book a consultation traffic. And I'm not sure then if I had my mic muted while I was saying this earlier, but there's going to be a webinar replay that is going to be emailed to you. So, there's going to be a webinar replay link that's emailed to you. So you'll be able to access this training over and over again via the webinar replay. And that'll be available indefinitely. So you'll be able to, as you're starting to do your campaigns, you'll be able to refer back to this training as well. Okay, so we are going to drive traffic to our book a consultation page. So we're going to call that our book a consultation traffic. For this ad set, we're actually using people that have visited any pages on our site that have to do with social media. And then when we come in here, we'll want to use our custom audience. And we'll choose the custom audience, the social media content view. And then you'll see that it's here. We can say everyone in this location. If it's very specific to being Sault Ste. Marie, then you might want to come in and target this further. But usually you wouldn't really want to change too much of this unless you're really promoting specifically for an age category. But even then, I would keep this open, but maybe the only targeting that I would do is maybe the location if you're very specific to only servicing Sault Ste. Marie. All the other targeting I would leave blank. And then for automatic placements, you could edit the placements and choose where you want it to go. For this, I'm just going to leave it blank. And then here, I will choose $5 a day. But the great thing about remarketing is Facebook will actually allow you to go below that $5 minimum because you're using a custom audience and it may be smaller. So sometimes it doesn't make sense to even spend a full $5 a day on remarketing, because if you don't have that much website traffic, then you're going to be just wasting money showing the same ad to the same people over and over again, and it'll probably annoy them because Facebook's going to try to spend this budget. So when it comes to remarketing, you can change that to $3 if you want to. Some people even just set it to $2 or even $1 because it won't really cap you at $1 for that specific day. What it does is it does an average for the whole entire week. And so it would just be, if we set it at $2 a day, it would be that you're going to spend no more than $14 per week on this campaign. So when you think of it, that 90% of your website traffic doesn't take the action that you want them to on that first visit, and really majority of the money that you're going to make is in remarketing, it's amazing that you only really have to spend $1, $2, $3 a day remarketing back to those people and recouping all of that potential revenue. So Melissa, great question. Melissa asked, when you create a custom audience based on website traffic, can you see how many people you'll be reaching, how many people are in that audience, and for that one specific ad? Yes, you can. So you will see here, I'll just set this. So this is my, for this specific ad, which I have social media content view, you'll see here that my estimated daily reach is going to be about 81 to 320 people, and that I can expect 4 to 22 link clicks a day, dependent on if the ad's successful or not. And when you're in your audience section, so I'll just come in this other tab back to the audiences. If it's really low, like say you're just starting out and you don't have much website traffic, it might not show you exactly how many people are in your audience. So I'm gonna go with 9. So when you actually come to your audience tab and it started to populate, it will show you how many people. So you can see here that under size, it'll show you how many people are actually in that audience. So even for website visitors, you can see this last one here, all website visitors, there's 4,200 people in that audience right now. And then as you go into the ads manager to create your retargeting campaign, it'll show you what your estimated daily reach is. So you can see the whole audience total amount, and then what your estimated daily reach will be as well. So this, and this will vary what your daily reach is based on what you have set for your budget. But again, if I'm only reaching, say, this many people, I probably don't want to have on a remarketing, I probably don't want to have too high of a budget set because it doesn't, Facebook charges on a CPM model. So that's cost per 1,000 impressions. And so if they want to if they want to display my ad like 1,000 times in a day, well, even if they meet the maximum reach that they're estimating, that means there's only 320 people. That means that each person in my audience is going to see my ad 3 times a day with this ad, with the budget that I have set. Well, I don't think anybody wants to see my ad 3 times a day. It'll probably be more annoying than it is beneficial. So that's where with remarketing, setting your budget fairly low, so it's a lower average throughout the week is better, so that people are only seeing it not too often. So yeah, so then you would set your ad up here. You would click continue. And there's sorry, I'm just answering a question. Okay, awesome. So in here, we have our video that we want to run. So we'll just say that we want to use a single video. I actually have this video uploaded already. We're going to send people to our website URL. I'm just, for this example, I'm not actually going to put it to the right page. We would set it to the book a consultation page. We would add in our headline. If you want, you can have a call to action. So this is where you can put, learn more, get a quote. There's when you build this up through the ads manager, they give you quite a bit more options in terms of buttons that you can have. So I'll just keep there. Okay, so basically you would build up your ad. You would want to make sure that you have conversion tracking on and that that you have your Facebook pixel selected, and then you would come in and you would confirm your ad, which I'm not going to do here because I don't want this to go live. But this then is going to be a traffic ad that's going to be showing my video and driving people to the book a consultation page, and it's only going to be showing to the people that have visited my website and viewed content specific to social media. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I have that ad set up, and now I'm driving people to this book a consultation. So, but there's going to be some people that even view that landing page and don't actually book the consultation. So what I want to do is now remarket back to those people. So you can see how with funnels, there's people at all different kinds of stages. The people that just were reading the blog posts. Now there's people that were viewing the video, but maybe or maybe not have viewed the landing page. And then there's people that have actually booked in a consultation. So what I would do here, and forgive me for just clicking back, is I would create a new traffic campaign. But this one would be for people that have visited the book a consultation page that did not visit the thank you page. So that means that it's all the people that visited the book a consultation page but didn't actually book a consultation. I would want them to be shown a different ad. So I'm just going to say book a consultation remarketing traffic. Then I would come through. And then in here, this is where I would say that they've visited the book, they've visited the book a consultation page, but then I would actually want to exclude people that have completed the consultation request. So that means that anyone that visited the page but hasn't actually booked in, they're going to see this ad. And then again, unless you want to target specific to a location, most of this will just be left blank. You can come in and set your budget again to a different budget. So on that first remarketing campaign, I set it to $3 a day. And this lasts because we're even further into the funnel and that audience size is going to be even smaller. I would actually set this budget to even lower. I would probably only set it to like $1 or $2 a day at max. Not $100 a day. Again, this would stay all over. And I would come through, I would select my video, which I actually had one. And then I would load up my other video that's for those people just to follow up with them, and then go ahead and create this ad that is again going to go to the book consultation page, but it's just a different ad camp, like a different video, different content. So the first video that I had was about who we are. So maybe it might be beneficial for me to actually play these just so you can see what we did in our remarketing campaign. Okay, so that was the ad that we ran for anyone that had viewed our website. So basically all of our website traffic. It was just an introductory, showing who we are, that kind of thing, showed some testimonials from clients. But once they visited that book a consultation page, they, I don't really want to show them that same ad again. So we actually created a different video. We created this different video that's just kind of fun and playful. So I'll play it from the beginning. And that's just a short video that actually just continues to loop. And we could have probably went with a hard kind of sale, like, don't forget to book your consultation. But we wanted this to be more like a feel good, because the first gentleman in this video, I know there's a lot of people when they start doing marketing, especially digital marketing, there's so much to learn that is honestly what they feel like sometimes, is that it's like the end of the world, because it can be a little bit overwhelming. So we wanted to just have a little bit of fun with that. So that would be like right at the end of the funnel. And then if they didn't book a consultation within 30 days after seeing this ad, then we would just stop showing them that ad campaign, and then we would just move on to something else. So if they didn't book a consultation for that, then probably what we would do is they would just get added back to our all website visitors, and then we would start promoting something else to them. Maybe it would be email marketing, and then see if they end up in our email marketing funnel. Or maybe it would be, web design. There's all different things. So you have different products and services, and you want to just kind of keep running through your different remarketing campaigns to see which one people are going to connect with and people are going to convert with. Does anyone have any questions about creating the campaigns and using your remarketing audiences? So I just want to go back to the Ads Manager. So I just want to show you, this is one, this is a couple of remarketing ads that we've had running for ourselves personally. And I just wanted to show you what this looks like in terms of pricing. You'll notice that when you start doing remarketing, that when you're doing more open traffic and your audience is larger, your cost per click will be a little bit lower. And then as you get into remarketing, your cost per link click will most likely be a little bit higher, just because you're showing a smaller amount of people. And so your click-through rate is going to be higher, and your impressions are going to be lower. So it's just going to look higher, but the people that you're remarketing to are typically more valuable anyways. They're more closer to that point of purchase. So it's okay if the cost per click is a little bit higher with that. Okay. Okay, so that's kind of the run through. I wanted to take some time and maybe specifically walk through some questions that people have, or if you wanted me to run through certain sections of the custom audiences again. So I'm just gonna scroll through some of the questions that I have here. So JD is saying, how does Facebook retargeting compare to Google's? So I think both platforms are very good. And I wouldn't really take the position that one is better than the other. Facebook obviously has a lot more data and a lot more people actively using it every day. I don't typically with Google use retargeting for AdWords, but I do use Google retargeting a lot for display ads. So that would be, for instance, Lions Timber Mart. They're a hardware store. And if people are visiting their We Install section and potentially thinking about doing a project with them, I would most likely remarket to them both on Facebook and on Google. But with Google, I would use specifically display ads that are designed to focus on starting projects with Lions. And I would do that on websites that are very specific to do-it-yourself, home and garden, HGTV, those types of things, where if someone is looking at renovating their home, those are the type of websites that they're going to look on. And so I would have display ads on those sites. Another great thing is YouTube, which falls under Google's kind of realm because YouTube is owned by Google. So you can do remarketing to people as well that are on YouTube. So if we knew that someone was potentially interested in a renovation project with Lions, then we could target specifically to people that are watching, to those people that are watching YouTube videos on how to do things yourself or anything really renovation related. Awesome. Is there anyone else that has any questions or that I can walk through? Okay, well, you guys think of questions, and then what I'm going to do is actually come back into the audience section. And since we have a little bit of time, I'm just going to go into the audience section and go over quickly what lookalike audiences are. This is great for people that have imported like their customer list, or say you have specific website visitors and you want to find like people. So when you come in here under create audience, so again, you would come in here, go to all tools, and you would choose audiences. You would come in here and you would create lookalike audience, and you would choose your page. So I will choose. It's true. I'm not. My apologies. Okay, awesome. I'll start that over again. So there's a section with lookalike audiences when you come in here and you go to audiences. We talked a lot about custom audiences based off how people are engaging with your website or your Facebook page. But once you have set custom audiences, or you say in your POS system, in your store, you want to import that, what you can do is create lookalike audiences within Facebook. And so what that is whatever data you tell Facebook to look at, they will look at that, look at the people that's in that audience, and then go out and find people of similar interests and similar audience style so that you can run ads specifically to those type of people. So you can, when you come in here and you choose create audience, instead of a custom audience, you would choose a lookalike audience. And you can come in here. You can come in here and you can choose your audience. So this is our website traffic. If you want to target it to specific countries, you can. So I will choose Canada. And then for audience size, it goes here by percentage. I typically don't go past like this 5%, just because you don't want it to be too big. Like you can see here at 1%, a lookalike audience based off my website traffic at 1%, the estimated reach is 236,000 people in Canada. So if I were to put that to 5%, that's going to be like 1.1 million people. So typically you want to keep it smaller, just because it's more contained. And then when you start running traffic to cold offers, to cold audiences, you can choose this lookalike audience. They're still cold, it's still considered cold traffic, but you know that they're the same type of people of your current audience and current customers. So lookalike audiences do really well when trying to expand out to new audiences. Okay, I see a question here. My business is selling books and the publisher has a monthly draw for free books that I enter my customers' names and emails in. Would this help me do that? If you have the list of names and emails, you can definitely import that into the system under customer data. So I'll just show you under create audience. You would come in here under customer file, and then you would come in here. They're going to ask you to make sure that you have, these are actually your customers, and that you just didn't steal their names and emails from somewhere. You click accept, and then it'll allow you to upload your customer data in a CSV or text format. So you can pull them in here and then call them customer list, and you can either market specifically to them, or if you know that they've purchased from you a specific product that you're promoting, you can exclude them from the ad set. So importing customer data is really, really awesome, especially for creating lookalike audiences. So if you know the people that have purchased from you previously, you can import them, create a lookalike audience, and start running ads to those people. And lookalike audiences can be much more lucrative than just running target-based audiences. So you could, create an audience that's just based off people that like to read and that are interested, in books and that kind of thing. But the lookalike audience for you specifically would probably be a better route to take. Is there anyone else that has questions about the content that we've covered? Thank you, JD. Okay, well, I'll just, I'll stay on the line for a little bit longer. If anyone wants to ask a question. I also want to just mention too that in the chat, you'll see that there's a public tab, and then there's also a private tab. So if you didn't want to ask the question publicly, you can start a private chat with me and ask questions. I'll keep the webinar open for the next little bit. So if there is something that you think of, you can definitely feel free to put the question in, and I'll answer it. And this webinar is being recorded. So as soon as the system's done processing the video, it'll be available to rewatch, and you'll be emailed the link to the replay once it's ready. So sometimes, because this is a little bit of a longer webinar, it can take a few hours. So just be patient while it does that. And yeah, I wanted to say thank you to everyone that's been out today, and And if you have any questions, you can always find me on Facebook, Geronimo Solutions, the Facebook page. You can message me there. And yeah. Awesome. I'm so happy everyone enjoyed it. JD, thank you. Oh, thanks, guys. I missed the first one. Well, my company, Geronimo Solutions, we're a digital marketing agency. So we are a full scope marketing agency, but we really focus on digital. So that can include digital ads, so Facebook, Instagram, Google, YouTube. We do email marketing, web design, basically anything that falls under that scope is what we do. And then the company that I'm representing today is my second business that's called Success with Digital. And we're purely an education company for digital marketing, but we make it very specific to local businesses. So one of the things that I found is that there's so much information on the internet about how to market your business, but oftentimes it's focused on people that have web-based businesses, you know, e-commerce, or they're selling info products. And so a lot of people that own local businesses try to, try to understand how they can implement that. So a lot of my trainings focus on the tactics to do digital marketing, but how to make that actionable for people that own local businesses. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone. It's been a lot of fun. And again, if you have any questions, I'm going to keep the webinar open just a little bit longer. You can feel free to post questions or start a private chat with me. And as you're kind of getting through and starting to implement, there will be the replay. But if you need any help along the way, then feel free to reach out to me on Facebook as well.